Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Ringworm, folks. I was working yesterday, and as always, I'm always getting crap in my eyes. I'm gonna wear the helmet with the face shield and everything, but I'm always getting sawdust and chips and crap in my eyeballs, and I think I got a splinter underneath my eyelid. Anyway, it took, like, I thought I'd go to sleep, maybe I just scratched something and I'd go to sleep and wake up, it'd be fine, it's still in there, but I dug around up there with a Q-tip this morning, and seems like I got it loosened up. Can still not see very well out of one eye, but we're not going to let that stop us. So as you all remember from the last episode, got all the siding made and all the siding put on. It doesn't look like a giant pincushion now. I don't dare pound any of those in yet. I've already several times found something that I forgot to cut or route or whatever and had to pop it back off. So I like to leave the nails sticking out till at least 3 to 4 years after done with the building project. What I got to do right now is to fill all these in up here, these gaps with little blocks that are sort of going to be vents. I just measured them. I need at least 6-inch wide pieces, 6 inches tall, and what, they're 16 on center, so 14 and a half long. All I've got left here is really beautiful stuff. Same goes for the pile there. So I think I have one log over there that's already milled up into 1-inch boards. This is all 3/4 inch, just so the logs would go a little bit further. But I don't think it's going to make any difference if they're 1 inch. It'll actually give me more to nail to if I nail in from the sides through the rafters into those boards to hold them in there. Maybe 1 inch would be better. So I'm going to go dig some of those out. We'll have to rip them down to size and whatnot. And also, got to put the door in. And this is one of those excuses for not putting all the nails in. I think all these will be fine. I mean, I could pound all those in. But as I mentioned a couple times, there's not insulation in the floor. There needs to be. I don't think I'll get to it. I mean, it's already almost winter, so I'll just deal with cold feet this this winter. But I think I'm going to build this floor up to insulate it, in which case this door will have to come back out, and then that header will have to be moved up. So let's take a look on the inside here. Yeah, if I were going to do it right now, these would just have to be moved up the height of however much I build up the floor. So if I build the floor up 6 inches, these will have to be slid up. These would have to be cut off 6 inches. And I think that's about it. And then we just need, you know, a new jack here or just a block underneath there. So I think I'm going to take any of the nails that would have to come out. Actually, it doesn't matter. I mean, I could just cut the siding off with a circular saw, move the whole thing up. Maybe I can just leave the nails. I was thinking I would just switch those nails to screws, so it'd be easier to get the siding off in the future. But the outside, I don't think the outside's really going to matter. When I do the wallboards on the inside, actually, it's not really going to matter because the door is going to come in here. And then I'll put there'll be the wallboards, and then I'll put a piece of trim over the top of it. Which means even if I have to circular saw out the wallboards inside, I can still put the trim back on. It'll cover up any, you know, nail scars or anything. Oh, one other thing that we looked at in the other video too is this is the outside of the door. So this tread here sticks out like 1.5 inches past the edge of the building, because this is going to go on the outside. So it is going to need something supported underneath. And until I get around to actually building stairs, which I'm just not in the mood to do, I think I'm just going to get a couple of, yeah, I've got some big fat scraps I could just nail there just to support that piece of metal. And then whenever I build the steps, I can connect it, take those boards off, even pop this bottom piece of siding off and figure it all out. I do eventually, someday, I would like to put a screened-in porch on here. You guys know I have that giant gazebo that I built a year or two ago that I use in the summer when it's really hot, but it'd be kind of cool to have something stick out, I don't know, 10 feet out or something. Just like a little porch in there. I will have to build, if I don't do that soon, I'm going to have to build something to stick out on top of this doorway, a little awning or something, because this is going to be a problem with all the snow and ice and everything building up at the bottom of this, because there's only a 1 foot overhang up there. But whatever, you know, I think of these things, I'm like, oh yeah, this probably needs to be done, that probably needs to be done. And then I remember, like, it's been years that I've been living in a tent out here year round. So it's not like if you don't have an overhang over the front door of your heated cabin, it's not like you're gonna die. Somehow I'll make it work. All right, that said, I kind of want to put the door in just to see what it looks like. Let's do that. Oh man, now that I look at this, I'm kind of feeling like I should put some steps on here. Only problem is I probably have enough lumber scraps left over there, and I've got some others, those giant pine boards that I've milled up. The only problem is that this is super soft. I'd have to do some concrete pads or something. And I only have one bag of concrete here, so... Okay, screw it. Let's continue. We've already started out of order. Let's keep going out of order. Holy cripes, that is heavy. Oh, yeah. Yeah! That'd be a real problem if it didn't slide right in there. Oh. Got a door. Alright, I'll see what the inside looks like. I'm gonna have to maybe get out the chainsaw and make some shims for this. I'm gonna push too hard or this whole thing is gonna fall right out of here. Yeah, need to put a brace underneath this and both to hold it up so I don't break it, and so I can have something to hold the door in while I'm shimming the inside, because as I push on this to get shims in there, it's gonna all get pushed out. Just use a piece of that for now. Yep, that'll work just fine. That should help for now. Let's use the rest of this to make some shims. I did this on a different building project with a chainsaw, but the gaps next to the door, since this is a real door and not a Ryan built door, are a lot smaller, so I'll try it with a circular saw. Let's just guess. Maybe like 1/4 inch on the fat end, see if I can actually cut that. A little too thin. Try again, try again. Yeah, that'll probably work. Make a handful of those. Should do. See if it's even close to start. Holy cow, sure is. Let's see, let's pick a couple winners there. Oh, perfect. Oh man, somebody really must have known what they were doing when they made these. Except for this one, they were kind of confused when they made this one. Otherwise, just pure genius. Man, it's pretty good. Well, I had to pull the door back out because this side was higher than this, and I couldn't just really shim the door. This is what happens when you mix my building style with the real world style. Like commercial grade products, they don't mix well. So get when you have a chainsaw milled lumber floor and a store-bought door, it doesn't fit together quite right. So I can see this one board is a little bit high. So I'm gonna see if I can plane that down. All I have are a couple 100-year-old hand planes here. I'm sure they'll do just fine. If they lasted 100 years, they'll work for this. Of course, all that dirt's probably gonna dull it up, but I can always send it back to my dad for sharpening. Could use the electric plane, but I don't know if it'll fit in this corner. Maybe it would. Maybe I could start with that. Might as well set them all because I always end up hitting damn nail heads. Oh yeah, that's sharp. Who made this floor? Somebody needs a new chainsaw or something. Much better. All right, let's try this again. You know, part of what happened, I noticed this before, I think this board was a little bit thicker. I mean, there's a variation with all these floorboards quite a bit, probably up to, well, from the thinnest of all of them to the thickest of all of them, probably 1/8 of an inch. Hopefully they're not stacked one next to each other, but sometimes they are. This one was a little bit thick. This one was a little bit thin, but also these were, you know, all this was green. And you could, I don't know if you can tell, but it dips down a little bit here. I think that's just because that's a main load-bearing part of the entire structure. So I think it just flattened this board out some. So I don't know. I think we're good now. All right, screwed the hinge side back in. Let's see. Oh yeah, now it closes nicely. And the lines are straight. Looks good. Want to hear something really weird? Now that there's a door on here and this place is closed, when I walked in, it felt really cold in here. Something about being inside a building when it's, I don't know what it is, in the 40s today. It feels freezing cold. You stand outside, it's like, oh, it's just a nice fall day. Well, shouldn't be long. We'll get all that insulation in here. I started dragging it up this morning. That's gonna go in no time, like a day. God, this is just really getting exciting, isn't it? I don't think I had any finish nails. It's got a nail in through the frame here. Kind of the same as the other side, except I want to use nails and not screws so you don't have a big screw hole in the frame. Not that out here it makes any difference. Again, if this was a Ryan-made door, I'd put screws all up and down. It wouldn't make any difference, just like the rest of this place. But you get a nice, flat, finished frame. You don't want a big screw head sticking through. I apparently bought a ton of these boxes of finish nails a while ago at the Restore, the secondhand building store. They were brand new and full. I don't really use finish nails out here, but I guess it's a good thing I got them. Guess we need a doorknob. I don't know if I bought a doorknob. All right, let's find some lumber for those vents. Holy cow, I stickered these? I definitely don't. Well, I guess I sort of remember doing that. I guess these are the 1-inch boards. I figured they weren't going to get used for a year, so I didn't want them to get all moldy. That'll work great. We'll use those. Back to the old chalk line. Then I think for some of these we can get away with about 6 inches. I'm going to go a little bit long and then just planer them down as needed. That looks great. And then I'm going to get them all to fit, and then I'm going to cut them out in a circle and put some screen on the inside. Beautiful. Now I just got to keep them all in order because everyone's trimmed a little differently. Got them numbered. Hopefully I don't screw them up. Once these are up there, you gotta obviously caulk all the way around it, just like everything is gonna have to be caulked, but I'm just gonna route these edges off here too, because as always, just like these, just easier to stick the caulk gun in there. Oh snap. Tito's on his way up and he's buying burgers. Woo! I don't know how long he's staying, so you know, don't worry, you guys will probably be safe. I won't point the camera at him. Yep, good old TT showed up last night, and I'm not saying it's related, but I didn't sleep very well last night, and I always sleep great. It's the only commonality there is I didn't sleep, and what's his name is here. The dude's got some weird vibes, even pretty long range. He's out sleeping in the deer castle. I don't know what he's doing today. He might go down to his cabin building site, do a little more clearing or something, or I don't know, he might just come up here, and I've got all these building scraps that he can burn up if he just wants to sit by the fire all day. You ever go to Harbor Freight even though you don't need anything? And you walk through their tool aisles and you see about 11 things that you have to have. Many years ago, I saw this thing, hole saw set. I have a couple hole saws that are good quality, so I haven't really used this much, but you know, I thought, what if I need a 1 3/4 inch and I've only got a 1 1/2 inch? So these are just gonna get one hole here. I'm thinking like 2 inches. Oh, I have no idea where all the screen is. Oh dear God. It's a wombat. You're leaving a trail of funk behind you, blowing off your skin. Or is that just your breath?
It's funk.
Your breath does that in the summer too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, what's going on?
Nothing. We're just about to break into some Harbor Freight hole saws. What you think?
Man, that looks so cool. And you just had this shipped here?
Yeah, it's one of those kits where you give them the specs, they build it, and take it apart, send it to you. They brought it out in a tractor trailer.
Huh.
And then they had 6 guys out here. It took them 4 weeks to put it all together. All I did was put this one nail in because they forgot it, but yeah, they did all the rest. Yeah, look at the front. I made the front extra weird. I thought you'd probably like it.
Dude, that is so cool. It's like you're being warped into
I know,
it.
it's like everything's sagging. That way when it really does sag, you'll never know.
It's Sustian or whatever.
Susian?
That's awesome. That looks great.
Yeah, all I got left to do is put these vents under the eaves here. That's what I'm making right now, and then the outside's all closed in. Then you can imagine how fun it'll be just to pound all these nails in.
I could leave it like that.
I know, I kind of like the pincushion look.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
That keeps large, flat creatures away from you.
Yeah, the manta rays.
Yeah.
It keeps them from sticking. Beep, boop, boop. That's the code. It's the finger code. Just push.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's got a real seal to it.
Oh my God, man, this is so cool.
It's pretty huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
You never think 200 square feet would feel so big. Let's say we make these 2 inches? 2 inches. Is that enough? I don't know. Oh, this is what I'm going to do all day. How satisfying is that? You want me to just do this for the next half an hour? I will. Just had a chickadee land on my head. It's like, that felt weird. I thought it was a leaf or something, but I brushed it and he took off. They're all over the place. Happy little buggers. Alright, I think I'm going to put 2 holes in each one since there's plenty of space. Yeah, those are dull right out of the box. Wow. Huh. Well, might have to use a jigsaw. Alright. Yeah, those are... I'm not going to be able to drill 50 holes with that thing. Got some skinny jigsaw bits, and I found some screen, some metal screen. That'll work. Anything from Harbor Freight that cuts, like any kind of saw, files, anything like that, they are just garbage. I like a lot of their stuff because, you know, one-time use, like a pulley puller or something you need. Great place to get them, but kind of unsurprisingly, they're actually teeth from one of these laying inside the kit. You probably can't see that, but oh well. Single-use tools. Holy crap, that was ugly. How'd that happen? Yeah, that didn't work at all. Look at the back side. Or that would actually be the front. Nothing else. I'll have to cut from the front to the back. I think that blade is just too skinny to go through that much wood. Let's see what it looks like once it's routed, though. Yeah, they're gonna have to be really well done to not look like garbage like that. I guess the other option is just to make the vent square or rectangular. Maybe I should do that. It'd certainly be a lot easier and I could cut them a lot straighter than this. Let's see what it would look like if they were rectangular. Interesting. Alright, I got some other options here. None of them very good. I do have spade bits. I could do like a bunch of holes throughout there instead of trying to cut this, because clearly I can't cut it straight. Problem with spade bits is this wood is wet and pretty stringy, so they get continually clogged up. That's the biggest regular drill bit I have, which is not going to do it, except for this. I got these at, oh, this is we use this to carve a pumpkin. That is a 5/8 bit, but it's 2 feet long. Could definitely do that. That would get through it. It's not a very big hole though. Well, let's try the spade bit first. If that works, that'll be our choice. You could do just a whole bunch of small holes. That would work, but I'd like to be able to fit the router in there and just route the edges a little bit. So it looks like, I'll measure that. I think that's like 3/4. So I might have to have at least a 3/4 bit, and then I can go through each one and zip them out. Let's try a 3/4. Yeah, super stringy. See that? That'd take forever to do 200 holes. Alright, let's try this then. This is getting so ridiculous. Woo! I'll definitely drill a hole. Now will the router fit in it? It's a little bit junky on the edges, but that might be alright. Maybe we'll have to do that. I'm gonna make a pattern out of this, drill all the holes in it, probably several sizes smaller, and then I could just go right through to the other boards. Then we'll draw the big holes. Does that make sense? I don't care if it does. Let's get this over with. I think that'll be all right. Why not? Let's try it. Well, let's just go ahead and do the whole thing on one of them, see what it looks like before I ruin every one. Wish I had a bigger bit than that. Whatever, stop thinking about it. It'll be fine. Fine, it's fine. What do you think? Good enough? It looks like a vent, sorta. It's supposed to be a little weird. You know, this is actually only going to be put in with a few nails. I'll put these in with screws on the bottom, and then if I come across a bigger drill bit, I can just pop them off really easily, drill these bigger, and put it right back in. Sound good? Sounds good. Oh man, I can hardly pull the trigger after 500 holes. One more. My triceps cramping up from holding these down too. I'm such a wimp. Sheesh. Now I gotta do it all again with the bigger bit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this on the ground. Try not to get too many boot prints on these. Actually, if I drill these from the back, then I can get my dirty boots all over. Alright, it looks horrible. Be better once it's routed, routed. All right, well, I think these are gonna work all right. I think I'm just gonna pop a couple screws in the bottom and that's it. Super excited to caulk all this in. It'll take like 2 days. The only problem with doing caulking now is all the caulk has to be heated up beforehand. So it won't even come out of the gun when it's, you know, in the 30s or something. See if I got the boards from the right side. Press fit. Look at that. Actually, I might pre-drill these because I bet when they dry out, they're gonna crack. Yeah, I think I'll do that. But hey, that doesn't look bad, does it? Much nicer. Yeah, that's pretty good. What do you think? Just bizarre enough? I kind of like it. Can you see it? Does it look cool? Reminds me of Swiss cheese, which is a good thing. Oh man, had a fire last night and I went out and got some of the biggest ribeye steaks I could find. I kind of have a problem with steaks when I actually buy them, which is not that often. I kind of look at, you know, this size steak and you look at the one next to it and it's this size, and then you look at one that's this thick and like I always have to get the biggest one. Man, it was a mistake. I couldn't even finish it, which is that's not a good sign. And I feel a little sluggish today. Anyway, gotta figure out what to do now. I'd like to put that fascia back on there, but before I do that, I want to caulk around all those little blocks I made yesterday. And if I'm getting the caulk gun out, I might as well, I don't know, do a bunch of this wall. Also, I do want to trim these corners out. So I guess it's time. I guess I have to pound all the nails in. I think I'm going to caulk right to the ends here and then come back and put the trim on the corners and then caulk that just to make sure that's nicely sealed up there. It was about 32 when I got up this morning. It's probably 35 now. So I looked at the tubes of caulk. It's not caulk, it's that roof tar I use on everything. And it does say if you're gonna use it in cold temperatures, at least warm it up to room temperature. And I was kind of thinking, like, what if you don't have a room? But I started up the stove in here and it's been going for probably a couple hours on low. Hopefully I've got some of this caulk warmed up. Let's see, I put some of it nice and close up here. Yeah, that should be good. That'll work. So I got the rest of my grubby clothes on, grab the caulk gun, and then get as much caulked as I can. I have one case, which I think is like 12 tubes. I'm pretty confident that won't do the whole cabin. So, you know, I'll just do what I can. I'll probably start up high, get around those blocks, work the way down as far as I can go until the stuff runs out. And then I'll have to, next time I go out of here, I'll have to grab a few more cases of that stuff. Alright, that's all the nails I can pound right now. Super fun just to pound away, but everything starts hurting, so let's switch to caulking. Only gotten to use this once so far for a couple hours, but it's really going to save my arms, I think. Man, this thing sure beats tendonitis. I like caulking. I think it's fun, especially if you got big long lines to do. The only downside to using this stuff is that when you screw up, you really screw up. You can see it from a long ways away just using the black caulk. Oh, there's a chickadee on my shoulder. Where is he on my helmet? These guys are so funny. Looks great. The only downside of this thing is that it does not have a very low gear. But I'll take it. Oh, ran out. Oh, I'd like to go all the way down, but I don't think I have enough caulk, so I'm going to spin around to the other side, do the top, then we'll figure out the fascia barge board. I can't remember which one's which. Doesn't really matter either. Oh, from your point of view, I've only been out here caulking for a couple minutes. From my point of view, it's been all day caulking and climbing on ladders and pounding nails. Man, you can only pound so many nails in a day. I'm down to, I think I got 3 tubes left. I'm trying to decide what actually needs to be done here. I got the top caulked in on both sides. All the nails pounded in, except for the very bottom boards because I'm too chicken to punch those in yet. I think I'm probably safe to call it a wrap on the back here, so I guess I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. I still want to put this fascia back up, but I'm kind of wondering if it wouldn't be easier to trim this corner first, just because up there's kind of a funny edge that I'll have to work around. It would be kind of hard to get to it from that side. Well, I suggest you just take a nap and maybe we'll meet back here tomorrow morning. Yep, I should have pulled it out. Darn. I think this is, the floor was sticking out a little bit here, and so this board's rocked. Who cares? I don't know if I'd recommend anybody building a cabin uses this stuff to caulk everything in on the outside. The upside is that it's completely waterproof, obviously. It's roof tar, and it's very cheap, and you can get it everywhere. So if you run out, you can just go to any local hardware store and find some brand of it. Downside is, I guess, I don't think it really stretches that much because it's just tar. So you probably have to put it on more often, at least for the first year or so as the boards dry out. Of course, most people build stuff with dry wood, so shouldn't really be a problem. I just do it because I get it for like 2 something a tube. And any real good high quality black caulk for doing something like this would be, at least 5 times the price. And, I'd have to buy 5 cases of it just in case I was doing another project that I didn't think of. I can't find it, anything locally like that. And if you do, it's 2 times that price. I don't know, it's worked out pretty well for me so far. Nothing's really leaked. The upside of using this roof tar is if you're like me and you really think it's fun to caulk, especially a whole bunch like this at one time, you get to do it again several times. And I mean, you got to fill your life with something, some activity, right? Might as well be something you love to do. Oh, it's especially fun. A couple of these places where my router bit dove in, so there's a big gap and there's an undercut, and you could just put the nozzle in there and flood the whole thing out. It's very nice. It's very nice. Yeah, like that one right there. I think I showed you that in the previous video. That was one of the first boards I put on. That was before I realized I needed a straight edge on some of those with undercuts. It's gonna take like 50 cents worth of caulk right there. It's gonna be fun. This is kind of like how I like shooting 22, but not really a whole lot of other calibers, because you can shoot 22 all day long for $11, and you shoot anything else, it's like $1, $2, $3. I just don't find that as much fun, because as you guys know from watching these videos forever, I equate every dollar spent with hours you have to be at a job. I mean, I guess this is my job. Oh, that gets kind of meta, but you know what I mean. So many things aren't that fun when they cost a ton of money, especially if you want to do them a whole lot. So buy cheap caulk. All right, come on now. How much cabin caulking do you really want to watch? You gotta seen enough by now. Why don't we call it a wrap on this week's video? I think I'm pretty excited. As soon as I get all this caulked up, I'm gonna trim out these edges, and I think I'm gonna get the big planer out. I want to pop this fascia back on up here, which I think I decided I'm going to use screws to put that on, because next time I have to caulk underneath here, it's going to be a lot easier just to pop that off again. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's already just in a month or so, it's pretty yellowed. And since I'm going to Thompson's water seal this whole thing, I thought maybe I'd just throw that through the planer once, pop it on, do the water sealing on everything. Of course, have to wait several days, maybe a week for this all to dry. And if I'm going to get the planer out, I might plane these the corner trim that's going to go on here, because just going a different direction, I think it's really going to stand out. I have a couple ridiculously pretty boards that I think I could rip up to make that quarter trim. So yeah, I'll rip them, throw it through the big planer, nail them on there, water seal. It'll look gorgeous, I think. And if I'm actually going to go to the trouble of getting the big planer out, I want to try something. Oh man, it's nice and warm in here. Had the heater on again, second day on as low as it goes, just to keep the caulk nice and warm. I put this together with screws thinking that I would eventually do this. So all I gotta do is pop the screws out, and these big fat 2-inch, I think this is cedar boards come off of there. And we'll just feed them through, throw them right back on here. And I'm going to put a couple coats of varnish on just to see what it looks like. I mean, it's a workbench. It doesn't really make any difference. It doesn't need to be pretty or anything, but I do want to see what it'll look like, because this is what I'm going to do with the picnic table. I'm going to take the screws out of this and feed the entire thing through the planer, and then, recarve all the names. I think I mentioned that before. All right, see you next week. We'll do some planer magic. Probably.